The emergency alarm echoed through the Velen Colony Control Center for the third time that week. Overseer Velkris pressed his three-fingered hand against the console, his scaled skin turning a darker shade of blue. The color change meant fear. Everyone in the room knew what it meant. "Confirm the readings," Velkris said quietly. The young technician's voice shook. "Confirmed, Overseer. Long-range sensors detect 47 ships. Maybe more. They're 3 days away." Velkris closed his eyes. 3 days. They had only 3 days before the Wrathcore swarm arrived. The pirates had been raiding colonies along the outer rim for months. Each attack grew worse. Each time, they took more and killed more. Now they were coming here. The Velen colony was home to 50,000 people. They mined rare minerals from the asteroid fields. They had families. They had children. They had lives. But they had no weapons, no warships, no defense fleet. They were miners, not soldiers. "Send the distress call to the Galactic Coalition," Velkris ordered. "Priority 1. Request immediate military assistance." The message went out across the stars. It traveled through the network of relay stations that connected the civilized galaxy. It reached the Galactic Coalition headquarters in less than an hour. Then came the waiting. Velkris stood at the window of his office, looking out at the colony. The lights of homes and factories spread across the valley below. Children played in the parks. People walked to work. They didn't know yet. He would have to tell them soon. The reply from the Galactic Coalition came 6 hours later. Velkris read it 3 times. Each time, his heart sank lower. The message was polite. It was formal. It was useless. The Coalition acknowledged the threat. They expressed concern. They noted that the Wrathcore swarm was becoming a problem. But military resources were limited. The main fleets were deployed elsewhere. Important border disputes needed attention. Critical trade routes required protection. The Coalition would send help. 1 medical frigate. 1 evacuation transport. They would arrive in 3 weeks. 3 weeks. The swarm would be here in 3 days. Velkris made the announcement that evening. The entire colony gathered in the main square and watched the screens. He told them the truth. The pirates were coming. The Coalition couldn't help in time. Velkris made the announcement. Velkris made the announcement. The Coalition couldn't help in time. They would evacuate as many as possible. The math was simple and terrible. The colony's own transport ships could carry maybe 5,000 people. The Coalition transport would take another 2,000. That meant 7,000 saved. 43,000 left behind. Panic spread through the colony like fire. Families fought over spots on the evacuation lists. Some packed everything they owned. Others just stood in shock. The mining operation shut down. No one cared about minerals anymore. Velkris returned to his office. He felt old. He felt tired. He had been overseer for 20 years. He had helped this colony grow. Now he would watch it die. A light blinked on his console. An incoming message. Not from the Coalition. The origin code said it came from the Human Diplomatic Service. Humans. Velkris knew about them. Everyone did. They were the new species. They had joined the galactic community only 30 years ago. Young. Energetic. Strange. They asked too many questions. They moved too fast. They made other species nervous. The message was brief. Received your distress call. Forwarded to Earth Command. Stand by. That was all. Velkris stared at the screen. He didn't understand. Why would humans care? The Velen colony wasn't in human space. There were no treaties, no alliances, no trade agreements. Just a desperate call that the Coalition had already dismissed. He sent a reply anyway. Thank you for your attention. Situation critical. Any assistance appreciated. Another message came an hour later. Same source. Velkris read it again. Fleet? That had to be a translation error. Maybe they meant a ship. One ship would be better than nothing. But a fleet? That made no sense. He sent another message. Please confirm. Did you say fleet? The response came quickly. Confirmed. Third Fleet en route. 14 warships. 3 carrier groups. 6 support vessels. Total 23 ships. Will arrive before hostile force. Prepare for coordination. Velcris stood up so fast his chair fell over. 23 ships. They were sending 23 ships. For a colony that wasn't theirs. For people they had never met. The Galactic Coalition sent 1 medical frigate. The humans were sending a war fleet. He called his senior staff. They gathered in the control center. Velcris showed them the messages. No one believed it at first. It must be a mistake, one said. Maybe it's a trick, another suggested. Why would humans do this? A third asked. Velcris had no answers. He sent another message to the human diplomatic service. We are grateful. But we must ask. Why? We have no alliance with Earth. No treaty. Why send so much? The reply took longer this time. When it came, it was from someone named Ambassador Jinho. You asked for help. That's enough. Humanity doesn't measure the cost of doing what's right. Hold on. We're coming. We're coming. Velcris saved that message. He read it to his staff. Then he made another broadcast to the colony. The humans are coming, he said. They're sending a fleet. 23 ships. They'll be here in 36 hours. Before the pirates arrive. This one of the Makid. They were being ham. The colony went silent. Then someone cheered. Then everyone cheered. People cried. They hugged. They couldn't believe it. Strangers from across the galaxy were coming to save them. But Velcris felt worried too. The Wrathcore swarm had 47 ships. The humans were bringing 23. The humans would be outnumbered 2 to 1. Would it be enough? He thought about the ambassador's message. About not measuring the cost of doing what's right. He wondered what kind of species thought that way. What kind of people sent their warships into danger for strangers? The colony worked through the night. They prepared landing zones. They organized communication channels. They did everything the human coordination team requested. Velcris didn't sleep. He stood at his window, watching the stars. Somewhere out there, a human fleet was racing toward them. And somewhere else, a pirate armada was closing in. In 36 hours, they would know if hope was enough. If 23 human ships could stand against 47 pirate raiders. If doing what's right was enough to survive. The overseer touched the scale on his chest where his hearts beat. For the first time in days, he felt something other than despair. He felt something he thought he'd lost. He felt hope. The emergency session began at dawn in Geneva. Earth Command headquarters buzzed with activity. Officers hurried through corridors. Screens showed star maps and fleet positions. The smell of strong coffee filled the conference room. Admiral Taehyun sat at the head of the table. He was a tall man, with gray hair and sharp eyes. He had commanded fleets for 20 years. He'd seen war. He'd seen peace. Right now, he was watching a recording of the Velen distress call. Play it again, he said. The alien's voice came through the speakers. Scared. Desperate. Begging for help. The translator made the words clear. 50,000 people. 3 days until the pirates arrived. No weapons. No defense. Please help. Director Sora sat across from the Admiral. She ran Earth's Interstellar Relations Bureau. Her job was keeping humanity's relationships with other species smooth. This situation was anything but smooth. The Galactic Coalition already responded, she said. They're sending a medical ship. In 3 weeks. After the attack. So they're sending a cleanup crew, Commander Dongwu said. He was the Strategic Operations Officer. A man who dealt in facts and numbers. Not a rescue force. The Coalition calls it a minor border skirmish. Sora continued. Not worth deploying military assets. They have bigger problems. Admiral Taehyun leaned back in his chair. How many people will die while they handle their bigger problems? The room went quiet. Everyone knew the answer. Most of them. Maybe all of them. We're not obligated to respond, one of the civilian advisors said. The Velen colony isn't in our territory. We have no treaty with them. No trade agreements. Nothing. So we do nothing? Taehyun asked. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we need to consider our position. We're still new to the galactic community. We can't fight every battle. Sora stood up. She walked to the star map on the wall. Let me tell you what I see. I see an opportunity. The coalition just told 50,000 people they're not worth saving. What happens when we show up and save them anyway? We make enemies in the coalition, the advisor said. We make friends everywhere else, Sora replied. Every small colony, every outer rim settlement, every species that feels ignored by the big powers, they'll remember that humans answered the call. Taehyun pulled up the tactical data. Let's talk about the Wrathcore swarm. What do we know? Commander Dongwu activated the display. Images of pirate ships appeared. Rough, badly maintained, but armed. 47 ships of various sizes, Dongwu explained. No unified command structure. They attack in waves. Overwhelming numbers. They rely on chaos and fear. Most colonies surrender without fighting. What happens when someone fights back? Taehyun asked. Not much data. Few colonies have weapons. The ones that do usually have maybe 1 or 2 defense ships. The swarm overwhelms them quickly. What if they face organized resistance? Professional military? Dongwu smiled slightly. No data on that. Nobody's tried it. Taehyun stood and walked to the map. He studied the Velen system, the colony location, the approach vectors, the asteroid fields. His mind was already planning. If we go properly, he said. I want the Third Fleet. Full deployment. The room erupted. People started talking over each other. The civilian advisor looked shocked. Admiral, that's 14 warships, 3 carrier groups, and 6 support vessels, he said. 23 ships total, for 1 colony. Isn't that excessive? Is it excessive to do the job right? Taehyun asked. They're expecting nothing. The coalition offered 1 ship. We show up with a fleet. We don't just save them. We make a statement. What statement? The advisor asked. That when humanity says we'll help, we mean it. No half measures. No token gestures. Full commitment. Sora was nodding. The Admiral's right. We go big, or we don't go at all. Anything less looks weak, looks uncertain. And the cost? The advisor pressed. We've already paid the cost, Taehyun said quietly. The moment that distress call reached us, we had to choose. Help or don't help. There's no middle ground. If we help properly. The vote was called. Earth Command approved the deployment. The Third Fleet would launch immediately. The next 12 hours were organized chaos. All across Earth's orbital stations, the fleet came alive. Captain Hana received her orders aboard the Times Determination Asterisk. She read them twice, then smiled. Her ship was a heavy cruiser. State-of-the-art. Built for this kind of work. She called her senior officers to the bridge. We're deploying to the Velen system, she announced. Pirates are threatening a civilian colony. 50,000 people. We're going to stop them. Her crew responded with quiet efficiency. No cheering, no dramatics, just professionals preparing for battle. That was the human way. In the Carrier Times Resolute Asterisk, Nari checked her fighter squadron. 24 pilots, all trained, all ready. She walked between the ships, inspecting each one. The pilots watched her, waiting for the briefing. Listen up, she said. We're going to help some people who can't help themselves. Pirates think they can do whatever they want out there. We're going to teach them otherwise. Check your systems. Triple check. We launch in 6 hours. Down in the engineering sections, Hyun-woo coordinated with his teams. They were loading defensive equipment, shield generators, point defense systems, repair drones, enough gear to fortify the entire colony. Why so much? A young engineer asked. Isn't this just a pirate raid? Hyun-woo looked at him. We're not just fighting off pirates, we're protecting people. That means we give them everything they need to be safe. Not just today. Tomorrow, too. Dr. Yuna worked in the medical bays. She organized supplies, checked equipment, briefed her staff. Medical teams on every ship prepared for casualties. But they also packed humanitarian supplies, medicine, food, water purification systems. You didn't show up to save people and then leave them struggling. Ambassador Jinho sent the final message to the Velen colony. Fleet en route. ETA, 36 hours. Prepare coordination channels. We won't let you down. The Third Fleet assembled in formation. 23 ships, thousands of crew members, weapons, shields, fighters, supply ships, everything needed for a proper military operation. Admiral Tae-hyun stood on the bridge of his flagship. He looked at the fleet display. This was bigger than one colony. Bigger than one battle. This was about showing the galaxy who humans were, what they stood for. All ships report ready, Admiral, Commander Dongwoo said. Then let's go do some good, Tae-hyun replied. All ships. Jump to FTL. Course set for Velen system. Maximum speed. The fleet vanished in flashes of light. They jumped into faster-than-light travel, racing across the stars, racing against time. Losen? Behind them, Earth watched and waited. Ahead of them, a colony held its breath. And somewhere in between, pirates, who expected easy prey, were about to learn a hard lesson. Humans didn't do anything halfway, especially not helping people who asked for it. The alarms in the Velen Colony Control Center started screaming at dawn. Every sensor lit up red. Massive energy signatures appearing at the edge of the system. Multiple contacts. Too many to count quickly. They're early, someone shouted. The swarm is here early. Overseer Velcris ran to the sensor station. His heart pounded in his chest. The humans said 36 hours. It had been exactly 36 hours. But these readings showed dozens of ships. This had to be the pirates. The technician's hands shook as he worked the controls. Reading 23 contacts. Coming out of FTL. Formation pattern Delta. Wait. That's a military formation. Thanks for watching. Pirates don't fly in formation. Velcris stared at the screen. The ships appeared one by one, dropping out of faster-than-light travel in perfect positions. Each one precisely where it should be. A carrier here. Destroyers there. Cruisers forming a defensive line. This was coordination. This was discipline. It's them, Velcris whispered. It's the humans. The communications officer patched into the fleet channel. A human voice came through, speaking in perfect Velen, through the translator. Velen Colony. This is the United Earth Third Fleet. Communications Specialist Minho speaking. We're here to help. Please don't be alarmed by our arrival. We come in peace. The control center erupted in cheers. People hugged each other. Some cried. The humans had come. They'd actually come. Velcris composed himself. This is Overseer Velcris. Welcome to our system. We cannot express our gratitude. Save the thanks for after we deal with your pirate problem, Minho replied. There was warmth in his voice. We're deploying now. Admiral Tae-hyun requests a coordination meeting in 1 hour. Are you able to meet via hologram? Are you able to meet via hologram? Yes, of course. The Velan colonists pressed against windows and gathered in open spaces. They watched the sky as the human fleet moved into position. The ships were massive, bigger than anything the colony had ever seen. They spread out across the system with purpose and precision. 1 hour later, Velcris stood in the hologram chamber. The image flickered to life, showing several humans. A tall, older man stood in the center. "I'm Admiral Taehyun, commander of this fleet," he said. He didn't waste time with formalities. "We've reviewed your system layout. The pirates will likely come from the north vector. That's the clearest approach. How much do you know about the Wrathcore Swarm's tactics?" Velcris shared what little intelligence they had. The swarm attacked in chaotic waves. They had no real strategy, just numbers and aggression. They'd never faced serious military resistance. "Good," Taehyun said. That surprised Velcris. If they've never faced real resistance, they won't know how to react when they do. "Captain Hana will coordinate defensive positions with your colony. Commander Dongwu will brief you on the battle plan. Any questions?" "Admiral," Velcris said carefully, "you have 23 ships. The swarm has at least 47. The numbers aren't everything." Taehyun replied. "Trust me, Overseer. We didn't come this far to lose." The meeting ended. Velcris felt dizzy. These humans were so confident, so calm. Like fighting a pirate fleet twice their size was just another day at work. Captain Hana's face appeared in a new hologram. She was younger than the Admiral. Professional. Focused. "Overseer, we're positioning our fleet in a defensive sphere around your colony," she explained. A tactical map appeared, showing ship positions. "The time's determination times will take point. We'll draw them in, then close the trap. My crews are sending down equipment. Shield generators. Point defense systems. We'll fortify your orbital platforms. Is that necessary?" Velcris asked. Hana smiled. "We're not here to just fight a battle. We're here to protect your home. That means making it as safe as possible." Within hours, human engineering teams were working across the colony. Hyunwoo led the operation. His teams moved with incredible efficiency. They installed shield generators on the main structures, set up point defense turrets on the orbital platforms, deployed sensor drones throughout the system. The Velan engineers watched in amazement. The human equipment was advanced, simple to use. They showed the Velans how everything worked. "This generator will protect your main habitation center," Hyunwoo explained to a group of Velan engineers. "Maximum capacity, 2 million people. Nothing short of a battleship's main gun will get through it. You're just giving this to us?" "One," Velan asked. Hyunwoo shrugged. "You needed it. We brought it. Keep it after we leave. Consider it a gift." Fighter squadrons patrolled the system. Nari led her pilots on reconnaissance runs. They mapped every asteroid, every piece of debris, every possible hiding spot. When the pirates came, the humans would know the battlefield perfectly. Her pilots were good. They flew like they were born in space. Tight formations, quick reactions. The Velan pilots who watched on scanners had never seen anything like it. "All clear on Sector 7, Nari reported. "No contacts. No anomalies. System is clean." The colony transformed. In just 12 hours, it went from defenseless to fortified. Shields glowed around major structures. Defense turrets tracked the sky. Human ships maintained perfect positions. Velcris walked through the main square. Colonists gathered around human crew members who'd come down on shuttle runs. The humans shared food, told stories, showed pictures of Earth. They acted like this was normal. Like traveling across the galaxy to save strangers was just what you did. A small Velan child approached a human soldier. "Why did you come?" the child asked in simple, broken, universal language. The soldier knelt down. "Because you needed help. Kid, that's all the reason we need." That night, Velcris couldn't sleep. He returned to the control center. Found Captain Hana there, reviewing tactical displays with her officers. "Captain," he said, "I need to ask again. Why? Your coalition wouldn't help us. You owe us nothing. Why risk your ships? Your people?" Hana turned to face him. "Because it's the right thing to do. Overseer. Humanity learned something important in our history. We learned what happens when good people do nothing. When you see someone in trouble and look away. We decided that's not who we want to be. Not on Earth. Not out here. In the stars. But the cost of doing nothing is higher," Hana said firmly. "If we let those pirates attack your colony, 50,000 people die. And humanity has to live with knowing we could have stopped it. That cost is too high." Center, 1259. Velcris felt his colors shift, a deep purple now. "Respect. Admiration. Your species is remarkable. We're just doing what we hope others would do for us," Hana replied. "Tomorrow, those pirates will arrive. They're expecting scared miners. Instead, they'll find the Third Fleet. This is going to be a very bad day for them." The hours ticked down. Human crews prepared weapons, ran system checks. Fighter pilots briefed and rebriefed. Medical teams stood ready. Every ship knew its position, its role, its mission. Admiral Taehyun stood on his bridge, watching the tactical display. Somewhere out there, 47 pirate ships were coming. They thought they'd find easy prey. Helpless victims. They had no idea what was waiting for them. "Sir, long-range sensors picking up contacts," an officer reported. "Edge of the system, multiple ships." "Show me," Taehyun ordered. The display updated. 47 red dots appeared, moving in a loose formation. No discipline. No coordination. Just a swarm. Exactly as advertised. "All ships, battle stations," Taehyun commanded. "Weapons free on my order. Let's show these pirates what happens when humans answer a distress call." The Third Fleet powered up. Weapons charged. Shields strengthened. Fighters launched. Every human ship ready. In the colony below, 50,000 Velans watched the sky, hoping, praying, trusting that these strange aliens from a distant world would keep their promise. The battle was about to begin. The Wrathcore swarm entered the Velan system like they owned it. 47 ships of various sizes spread across space. Their hulls were scarred and dirty. Weapons pointed in every direction. They moved in a loose cluster, more like a mob than a fleet. On the bridge of the lead pirate ship, Warlord Krazik watched his screens. He was a large creature, covered in thick scales and battle scars. He'd raided 100 colonies. This would be one more. "The miners probably already fled," he laughed. "Easy pickings. Take everything not bolted down. Burn the rest." His crew cheered. They'd done this before. Small colonies never fought back. Sometimes they ran. Sometimes they begged. It didn't matter. The swarm always won. "Sir, detecting ships in system," a scanner operator said. "Military signatures." Krazik frowned. The display updated. 23 ships in perfect formation around the colony. Krazik laughed again. "They sent a defense force? Idiots. We have twice their numbers. Weapons hot. Prepare to attack." He opened a channel to the colony. "Attention. Velan colony. You will surrender all resources immediately. Resistance means death. You have 5 minutes." The response came quickly. But it wasn't from the Velans. A human voice spoke. Calm. Cold. "This is Admiral Taehyun of the United Earth Third Fleet. This colony is under our protection. You will reverse course immediately and leave this system. This is your only warning." Krazik stared at the screen. Humans? The new species? The ones who'd only been in space for 30 years? He laughed so hard his crew joined in. "You hear that?" he shouted. "The mammals think they can stop us. With half our numbers. Attack! Show these humans what real warriors look like." The swarm charged forward. Ships accelerated in chaotic patterns, some faster, some slower. No coordination. No strategy. Just raw aggression. On the flagship of the Third Fleet, Admiral Taehyun watched the pirate formation. Lieutenant Junho sat at tactical, analyzing their approach. "They're not even trying to coordinate," Junho said. "No wing formations. No support patterns. Just charging straight at us." "Amateurs," Taehyun replied. "Let them close to optimal range. All ships, hold position. Wait for my mark." Captain Hana stood on the bridge of the Times Determination Asterisk. Her ship was positioned at the front of the formation. She'd be the first target. Exactly where she wanted to be. "Weapons charged?" she asked. "All batteries ready, Captain," her weapons officer confirmed. "Good. Wait for the Admiral's order. Make every shot count." The distance closed. 5 million kilometers, 4 million, 3 million. The pirates opened fire early. Their weapons were uncoordinated. Shots went everywhere. Most missed completely. The few that hit human shields barely registered. "They're wasting ammunition," Commander Dongwu observed. "No fire discipline at all. 2 million kilometers. Now, all ships, fire," Admiral Taehyun ordered. The Third Fleet opened fire as one. Every ship, every weapon. Perfect timing. Perfect targeting. The effect was devastating. Concentrated plasma beams cut through space. Missiles launched in coordinated volleys. Point defense systems tracked and destroyed incoming fire. The human ships worked like parts of a single machine. The first volley hit 12 pirate ships simultaneously. Precise. Overwhelming. 6 exploded immediately. 3 lost power and drifted. 2 broke apart. 1 limped away, trailing atmosphere. The entire engagement took 45 seconds. The swarm reeled. They'd never experienced anything like this. Colonies didn't fight back. And when they did, they were weak. Desperate. These humans were neither. "Evasive," Krazik screamed. "Scatter." The pirates tried to spread out, but it was too late. The human formation adapted instantly. Destroyers broke left and right, cutting off escape routes. The carriers launched fighters. Nari led her squadron into the chaos. 24 human fighters against hundreds of pirate small craft. On paper, it should have been suicide. But human pilots trained differently. They flew differently. "Gold Squadron. Focus fire on Cluster 3, Nari commanded. "Silver Squadron. Sweep from above. Bronze. Watch our backs." The squadrons moved like dancers. Coordinated. Precise. Every pilot knew where the others were. Every shot had a purpose. Pirate fighters flew in random patterns, hoping aggression would overcome skill. It didn't. Human fighters dodged, rolled, and fired with deadly accuracy. Pirate craft exploded in bright flashes. "Target down," one pilot reported. "2 more destroyed," another added. "They can't hit us," a third said. "Their targeting systems are garbage," Nari smiled. "Keep moving. Don't get cocky. There's a lot of them." On the Times Determination Asterisk, Captain Hana directed her ship through the battle. A pirate cruiser came at them, firing wildly. Hana didn't even blink. "Return fire. Focused beam. Target their power core." The cruiser's weapons went silent. Then their engines. Then they drifted. Powerless. "Target neutralized," the weapons officer reported. "Next target," Hana said simply. The battle became a lesson in military precision. The pirates had numbers. They had weapons. They had experience terrorizing helpless colonies, but they'd never fought a real military force. They had no tactics, no discipline, no training. They were thugs, with ships. The humans were warriors. Admiral Taehyun watched the tactical display. The pirate formation was falling apart. Ships fled in every direction. Some tried to surrender. Others kept fighting stubbornly. "They're breaking," Commander Dongwu said. "Don't let them regroup," Taehyun ordered. "All ships, pursue. Disable their engines. We want as many captured as possible." The Third Fleet split into hunting groups. Each group targeted specific pirate ships. Precise shots, disabled engines, and weapons. Pirates couldn't run, couldn't fight, could only surrender. Warlord Krasik stared at his screens in disbelief. In 20 minutes, he'd lost 30 ships. 30. Some destroyed. Some captured. The rest barely functional. "Retreat," he ordered. "All ships, retreat now." His own ship turned to run. But a human destroyer was already there, blocking his path. Then another. And another. He was surrounded. "This is Captain Hana of the Times, determination asterisk. Power down your weapons and surrender. Refuse, and we'll disable your ship." Krasik's hands shook on the controls. He'd never surrendered. Never. But he'd also never lost before. These humans, they weren't just better. They were overwhelming. I surrender," he said quietly. The battle ended 32 minutes after it started. 43 pirate ships were destroyed or captured. 4 escaped, jumping to FTL before the humans could stop them. Human casualties, 0 deaths. 14 minor injuries. Minor damage to 3 ships, already being repaired. In the Valen colony, 50,000 people watched in stunned silence. They'd prepared for destruction, for death, for the end of their world. Instead, they witnessed the most one-sided military engagement in recent galactic history. Overseer Velcris stood in the control center. His colors shifted through every emotion. Blue for fear, purple for respect, green for joy. He couldn't process what he'd just seen. "Captain Hana," he said over the communication link. We, thank you, doesn't seem enough." Hana's image appeared. She looked calm. "You're welcome, Overseer. We're going to stay for a few days. Clean up the debris. Make sure no other pirates are hiding in system." Safe. The word felt strange. An hour ago, they'd been doomed. Now they were safe. Admiral Taehyun broadcast to the entire colony. "People of the Velen colony. This is Admiral Taehyun. The pirate threat has been eliminated. You are safe. We'll remain in system to ensure your security. You have our word that no harm will come to you." The colony erupted in celebration. People danced in the streets. Children waved at the human ships above. Some cried. Some laughed. All of them alive because strangers from across the galaxy had answered their call. On his flagship, Admiral Taehyun looked at the captured pirate ships. "Commander, send a message to all nearby systems. Include footage of this battle. Let everyone know what happened here." "Sir?" Dongwu asked. "The pirates need to learn a lesson," Taehyun explained. "And other colonies need to know humanity answers distress calls. Both messages are important. Taehyun Tenedy. Taehyun Tenedy. Taehyun Tenedy. Taehyun Tenedy. Taehyun Tenedy. Taehyun Tenedy." The battle was over. But the aftermath was just beginning. 3 days after the battle, the Velan colony still felt like it was dreaming. The streets were filled with celebration. Banners hung from buildings. Children drew pictures of human ships. Adults shared stories about watching the battle. No one had died. No one was hurt. Their home was safe. Captain Hana walked through the main square with Overseer Velcris. Everywhere they went, Velans stopped to stare. Some waved. Some bowed. Some just watched with wide eyes, full of gratitude. "Your people are celebrities here," Velcris said. "Every human crew member who comes down to the surface gets treated like a hero." Hana smiled. "They're good people. They're just doing their jobs." "Their jobs?" Velcris repeated. "Captain, you traveled across the galaxy, risked your lives, fought a battle against superior numbers, all for people you never met. That's not just a job. Maybe not, Hana admitted. But it's who we are. They stopped at a memorial being built in the square. Velen artists were carving a massive stone sculpture. It showed a human ship protecting smaller figures. At the base, words were being inscribed in both Velen and human languages. They asked for help. Humanity answered. Velcris touched the stone. This will stand for 1,000 years. So our children's children remember what you did. In orbit, the human engineering teams finished their work. Hyunwoo supervised the final installations. The colony now had shield generators protecting every major structure. Point defense turrets covered the approaches. Sensor arrays watched the entire system. This is military-grade equipment, a Velan engineer said. You're really leaving all this behind? Hyunwoo nodded. You need it more than we do. The pirates might come back, or someone else might. You should be able to defend yourselves. We don't know how to use half of this. That's why we're leaving training programs and technical manuals. In your language. Plus, these systems are designed to be simple. Your engineers will figure it out. Oh, the Velan engineer looked at the human. Why? Why give us so much? Hyunwoo thought about it. Because protecting people shouldn't be temporary. We can't be here forever. But we can give you the tools to protect yourselves. That's worth more than just winning one battle. The medical teams worked in the colony hospital. Dr. Yuna and her staff treated Velans who'd been injured in previous pirate raids. Many had lingering problems. Broken bones that healed wrong. Infections. Trauma. This equipment is amazing, a Velan doctor said, watching a human medical scanner work. It's finding problems we didn't even know were there. Dr. Yuna smiled. Modern medicine will leave some scanners behind. And medicine. And supplies. Should be enough for a few years. You're giving us medical equipment too? You asked for help. We're making sure you're okay. That includes medical care. A small Velan child sat on an examination table. She'd been hurt in a raid months ago. Her arm never healed right. Dr. Yuna examined the scan. We can fix this, she said gently. Quick procedure. Your arm will work perfectly again. Would you like that? The child nodded, eyes wide. The humans can fix anything. We try our best, Yuna replied. On the 4th day, the Galactic Coalition medical frigate arrived. 3 weeks late, the ship dropped out of FTL and immediately detected the human fleet. The Coalition captain, a bird-like species named Ventress, looked confused. His ship had come to help evacuate survivors and treat wounded. Instead, he found a thriving colony protected by human warships. This is Coalition Medical Vessel times Mercy *, he broadcast. We're responding to a distress call from the Velan colony. What's the situation? We, Mindy, Admiral Taehyun responded. Admiral Taehyun, United Earth 3rd Fleet. The situation is resolved. The colony is safe. The pirate threat has been eliminated. There was a long pause. Eliminated? The entire swarm? 43 ships destroyed or captured. 4 escaped. The colony suffered no casualties. Another pause. We'll dock at the colony. Verify the situation. Captain Ventress came down to the surface. He walked through the busy streets, saw the celebrating people, the human crews working alongside Velan engineers, the memorial being built, the medical teams treating patients. Overseer Velcris met him in the control center. Overseer, Ventress said carefully. The humans answered our call, Velcris said. There was an edge to his voice. 3 weeks ago, when we needed help immediately, they sent a fleet. They saved us. Ventress looked uncomfortable. The coalition was managing multiple crises. Resources were limited. You sent 1 medical ship. They sent 23 warships. You called it a minor border skirmish. They called it 50,000 people who needed help. The coalition protocols. Your protocols would have let us die, Velcris interrupted. We are grateful the humans don't follow those protocols. Word of the battle spread fast. The video footage went out across the galaxy. Pirates being destroyed in minutes. Human ships fighting with precision and power. A colony saved. Other colonies started talking. In bars and meeting halls, on space stations and planetary councils, everyone had the same question. Why hadn't the coalition helped like that? Ambassador Jinho sat in his office at coalition headquarters. His communication console hadn't stopped blinking. Requests for meetings. Questions from the press. Inquiries from dozens of colonies. Director Sora joined him via hologram. You've seen the news? Hard to miss it, Jinho replied. Every Outer Rim colony wants to know if humanity will protect them too. What are we telling them? The truth. We responded to a distress call. We'll respond to others if we can. But we're not promising to be the galaxy's police force. Quote, the coalition isn't happy, Sora said. They're calling it an overreach, saying we didn't follow proper diplomatic channels. Jinho laughed. They sent one ship 3 weeks late. We saved 50,000 lives. Let them complain. But the complaints were drowned out by something else. Gratitude. Support. Respect. Small colonies across the galaxy looked at humanity differently now. Not as the new species. Not as the outsiders. As the ones who showed up when it mattered. On the 6th day, the Third Fleet prepared to depart. The Velans organized a ceremony. Thousands gathered in the main square. Velcris stood at a podium with Admiral Taehyun beside him. 6 days ago, we were preparing to die, Velcris said. His voice carried across the crowd. The galaxy told us we weren't important enough to save, that our lives didn't matter enough to risk resources. Then, humanity arrived. 23 ships. Thousands of brave people. They asked for nothing. Expected nothing. They just came because we needed help. The crowd was silent. Many were crying. Humanity showed us what it means to truly care about strangers. To risk everything for people you've never met. This colony will never forget. The Velan people will never forget. When humanity needed friends, we will be there. Always. The crowd erupted in cheers. Admiral Taehyun stepped forward. He looked out at the thousands of faces. Aliens who'd expected to die. Who were alive because his fleet answered a call. We did what any decent species should do. He said simply. You needed help. We provided it. That's not heroism. That's basic decency. I hope the day comes when everyone in this galaxy helps each other the same way. When asking for help means actually receiving it. When distress calls are answered with action, not bureaucracy. More cheers. Louder now. This colony is safe. You have weapons, shields, training. You can protect yourselves. But if you ever need help again, send word to Earth. We'll come. That's a promise. The fleet departed that evening. 23 ships rising from orbit. The Velans watched from below, waving, cheering, some laughing, some crying, all grateful. On the bridge of his flagship, Admiral Taehyun watched the colony shrink in the display. Commander Dongwu stood beside him. Mission accomplished, sir. This mission will never really be over, Taehyun replied. We set something in motion here. Other colonies will call for help. They'll expect humans to answer. We need to be ready for that. You think we'll be doing this often? I hope so. I hope humanity becomes known as the species that shows up. That helps. That does the right thing, even when it's hard. The coalition won't like it, Taehyun smiled. The coalition had their chance. They chose bureaucracy over people. We chose differently. Let them deal with the consequences. Back on the colony, a small Velan child stood with her parent. They watched the human ships disappear into the stars. Why did they really come? the child asked. What did they want from us? The parent thought about everything that had happened. The fleet arriving, the battle, the help given freely, the equipment left behind, the promise to return, if needed. They wanted nothing, the parent said. They came because we asked, because we needed help, because that's what good people do. Will they really come back if we need them? The parent looked at the sky, at the stars where human ships had vanished. Yes, I believe they will. Humanity keeps its promises. Across the galaxy, the story spread. The humans who sent a fleet instead of a ship, who fought 47 pirates with 23 ships and won, who asked for nothing and gave everything. The Wrathcore swarm broke apart after that. No one wanted to raid colonies anymore. Not when humans might show up. Other pirate groups got quieter, more careful. The outer rim became a little safer. And on 100 worlds, in 1,000 colonies, beings looked up at the stars and wondered, if they called for help, would humanity answer? The answer, they were beginning to learn, was yes. Always yes.